Hey everybody, my name is Ruben and I'm a program manager in the Visual Studio team. Today, I want to share with you some of the recent improvements we've made to the GitHub account experience inside Visual Studio 2022. As you can probably guess, the GitHub account experience is very important as it allows you to access GitHub resources all over the IDE. And not just that, but it's a gateway into enabling all the powerful GitHub Copilot capabilities we have to offer. Let's take a look at how these changes will make your GitHub workflow smoother from the first time you install and launch the IDE to your everyday development activities. Let's dive in. Once you install Visual Studio for the first time, you'll notice that you now have the option to add your GitHub account from the first launch dialog. You can still sign in with your Microsoft account to run in your settings and potentially license the product. However, if you're a GitHub-centric developer, you can also add your account and be ready to leverage GitHub resources and use Copilot as soon as you launch the IDE. If you'd rather configure your accounts later, you can still do so. In fact, for the purposes of this demo, I'll skip ahead this step and show you the improvements we've made inside the IDE itself. Once we're inside the IDE, you'll notice that you can also add your GitHub account by going to the shell's sign in button. If you click there, you'll see that you can add a Microsoft or GitHub account just like what we saw on the first launch dialog. I'll add my GitHub account. I'll select Ruben Demo as the first account to add. You'll see a quick loading animation showing up, and eventually the sign in button was replaced with a profile picture. If I click there, you'll see that the profile card opens and the account that I just added now shows up. I want to draw your attention to the sync is not supported message here. That just means that you'll need to add a Microsoft account in order to roam your settings across other devices, as that capability is not currently supported by GitHub accounts. Now, I want to draw your attention to the GitHub Copilot chat window. You'll see that it's asking me to sign up for Copilot free, and the reason for that is that the account that I just added does not have any valid Copilot entitlements. You could also get that information at a glance by looking at the GitHub Copilot badge. Let's add a secondary account, and you can do so by going to the profile card and clicking on Add Another Account. Let's select GitHub and add my second account. Just as before, a quick loading animation, and if I were to open up the profile card, you can see the secondary account is now available in my keychain. However, you may notice that nothing truly changed inside the IDE. Let's go back to the profile card and see what's going on. Perhaps you noticed before that the active account badge was showing up as soon as we added the first account. That's one of the new features that we've added to help with the multi-account workflow inside Visual Studio. The active account just indicates the IDE that is the account that it should use for GitHub-aware features such as Copilot. Let's actually switch the active account to the new account that I just added. You could easily do so by clicking on the account options and clicking Set as Active Account. As soon as you change that, you'll notice that the badge went from the top account to the new one. And not just that, but the GitHub Copilot chat window has now been activated. As I mentioned, the GitHub Copilot badge also denotes that Copilot is now active, right? So you can always go there for at-a-glance information about the Copilot status. Lastly, we've also made several improvements to our version control scenarios in order to better support the GitHub multi-account workflow. For instance, I'll open up a sample project which is associated with a GitHub repository. Now, this is just a very simple Hello World project, right? But let's just imagine that it is a very complex application. Now, I just made a change and I want to commit this very complex change. Fixing complex issue. I'm going to use the number sign to try and link that specific commit to a GitHub issue associated with my account. Except that this time, Visual Studio has more than one account on its keychain. This dialog then comes up and tells you, hey, please choose a GitHub account to associate with a specific repository on which we're working on, right? So this account, or this dialog, I should say, will show you the account picker, which allows you to select the specific account you want to associate with this action and this repository going forward. This is just one of the multiple optimizations that we've made to the GitHub multi-account workflow to better fit your needs. There you have it, folks. That is one of the many ways in which we're making the GitHub account experience awesome. We appreciate all the feedback that you sent about this feature, and now that it's finally here, I want to remind you to please keep sending us your feedback and feature requests through the developer community portal. Thank you so much for joining, and see you next time.